Thank you, Marco, for giving us some time for this interview. Can you please first start by introducing yourself and talking a little bit about your company, Cassiar Gold?
Sure. So myself, my name is Marco ROQUE, and I'm the president and CEO of Cassiar Gold. Just a little bit about my background. I'm Portuguese, born and raised. I started my career in private banking, moved over to capital markets, worked at Barclays for roughly 6 years, did my MBA between the London Business School and Hong Kong UST. I lived for over 10 years in Hong Kong, was doing M&A advisory in Hong Kong, focused on big producers and Asian capital. I started investing in new mines, and obviously in producers first, then in new mines, in mine development, and then eventually into juniors. I became an entrepreneur in the space, took a few companies public on a Toronto Stock Exchange and in the US. And in 2020, I jumped as the CEO of Cassiar Gold. And about Cassiar Gold is a Canadian gold explorer. We are focused on our flagship Cassiar Gold project in northern British Columbia. It's a really highly undervalued and very exciting asset. It's massive. It's 59,000 hectares, 590 square kilometers, 100% owned. Has 5 past producing mines in the district. And because of that, it has all the infrastructure, mill, access roads, paved roads, portals, underground workings, as well as a resource of 1.4 million ounces inferred at 1.14 grams per ton, right at surface and open. It's an open pitable deposit, which is growing. That resource is from early 2022. We drilled 46,000 meters across the property since the last resource update. We have a hit ratio that is extremely high. It's almost 100%. We keep on growing the mineralized systems. And our objective is to eventually get this to 5 million ounces. We have a resource update coming out next month, which is quite exciting as well. And that should be a massive re-rating opportunity. The market cap is roughly 26 million Canadian dollars, just under 5 million in the bank. And we also, of course, are in a very safe jurisdiction with mine permits, community support. And we're also are a company that is led by a team of executives that has discovered, built, and operated mines in British Columbia and across Canada and across the world. So, really ticking all of the boxes that you want to see in a junior.
You're talking about your flagship project. Are you referring to the Taurus project or something else?
Yeah, the Taurus deposit sits at the heart of our flagship Cassiar Gold project.
Okay. So, it's not the whole of the project.
No, so the Taurus deposit is just a deposit where we have the 1.4 million ounces. So the Taurus deposit basically occupies a 1 square kilometer area. It's a single pit deposit where we have the entirety of the 1.4 million ounces. But the project itself, it's 590 square kilometers, and it's highly underexplored. Yeah, so we've only drilled a very, very small portion of our land package. So the potential is huge here.
So, of course, Cassiar is an exploration and drilling company. So when we are talking about exploration company, the first, if not the main questions that comes to mind is what about your cash reserves at present time, April 2025?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we have just under 5 million in the bank. So, we have a comfortable cash position. And we have quite a bit of... Sorry?
5 million in the bank. How long do you think the company can operate until you need additional funding?
Well, I mean, it really depends on how much work we want to do. So we commit to, typically we drill it, although we can operate year round, we typically stack our drilling in the summer when it's most efficient and cost effective. And we define our drilling plans in our exploration and field programs as a function of the cash that we have. During the winter, we have a relatively, very low cash burn, $80,000, $100,000 a month. That gives us a lot of flexibility, and we decide, every year how much we drill and spend as a function of the cash that we have. And I was just saying that we've raised almost $45 million since we took over the project. So raising capital is not a challenge for us. Let's put it that way.
It's not a challenge. That was to be about my next questions. What do you plan to do in the near futures? Do you plan to do an additional equity raise, or do you explore debt options, or what?
No, I don't think we are in a position to take on debt. I mean, we only take on, although we've been offered that multiple times. We don't. You want to take that when you don't have visibility to near-term cash flow. So we definitely wouldn't do that. So the source of capital is raising equity. We also have other options that are non-dilutive, like streaming or royalties, etc. So we always open to consider any type of options, when we tend to be quite nimble and kind of pick our points in terms of when to raise capital. But in a near term, what we really have coming for us is a resource update, which should be a big re-rating opportunity, as well as we're about to release very soon a fieldwork component from last year's program that comprised over 70 square kilometers of geophysics, a couple of soil grid surveys, and mapping and sampling over an area of roughly 30 square kilometers, which is 30 times the footprint of Taurus.
The equity raise scenario is the one which is the most dilutive to existing investors. So obviously, this is one that we as investors would likely see the most. If we would likely prefer it to be avoided at any cost in favor of other options, like you mentioned. Why do you leverage? How do you leverage existing infrastructure to reduce exploration? Because this is such a big exploration level that you have. How do you manage it in terms of exploration efficiency?
Well, that's actually a great question. When people, when I mention to people we are in, northern British Columbia, people think it's extremely remote, and it's relatively remote, but more importantly, is extremely accessible. We have, dozens of kilometers of paved roads. We have, 160 kilometers of mining access roads coming through our property. We have a camp. And and having all of this infrastructure really lowers the cost to operate today, and also lowers the barrier for development in the future, because most of the infrastructure is already there. So it is really a key advantage as an operator to have all of this infrastructure, and really allow us to operate quite efficiently. The amount of drilling we've done over the last few years and the cost of drilling really demonstrates that.
I looked at the portion in British Columbia where you operate, and I saw that there are quite of other companies, both drilling companies like yours and bigger, more established players. Do you plan to bring in strategic partner, or to do some joint venture agreements at some point in the future?
It's a possibility. I mean, everything, we are open to all possibilities. At the end of the day, it's about, creating value for our shareholders. I personally believe that a project like this, with this resource size, with this prospectivity, with the pace at which we are, growing and expanding mineralization and adding ounces over the last few years, I believe this will end up sooner or later in the hands of a major, especially considering that we are in a safe jurisdiction. We have strong community support, and we have quite a bit of infrastructure already in place, as well as 2 mine permits. So this is really a project that ticks a lot of the boxes. It's not the biggest project out there yet, but we're growing fast, and we're solving every year for what is still not our strongest point, which is a really massive resource inventory. But we're basically adding mineralization to every drill program and every drill hole, really, almost.
Was the infrastructure already in place when you started drilling, or did you participate in some way to the creation or enhancement of this infrastructure?
Yeah, no, look, we've done work on the infrastructure, but by far most of it was already in place. The paved roads, the access roads, the portals, the underground workings, the mill, the tailings facilities, everything was already there. So we spent some money here and there in maintenance and keeping the infrastructure in good condition and operatable, because it's really a great asset to have as an operator, all of this infrastructure.
You said that Cassiar Gold operates in a safe jurisdiction, which is British Columbia, we can say. It's indeed a safe jurisdiction. There are lots of other players around. How do you explain that with such a promising opportunity, there has not been any drilling before in the specific part where you've been operating? Of course, well, Canada is a big country, but why isn't there before any drilling in that space?
Well, in the area that we operate, it has been quite a bit of drilling, hundreds of thousands of meters. And we have 5 past producing mines, so we're not really getting into an entirely new area. Obviously, the old timers were very much focused on their little postage stamps, because the whole district was broken up with different owners and different operators. Some of them producing, some of them exploring. It's there's quite a bit of historical drilling, historical work,
Yes.
Lots of money invested in infrastructure. So we're really standing on the shoulders of the previous operators.
Previous players.
It's truly a blessing to be able to have an asset that is has seen so much work and is so advanced. And you're getting all of this for a fraction of the cost that has been invested in this asset.
We'll talk about the gold price in the future, but how do you plan to mitigate financial risks from gold price volatility and all the future expenses, if you have any plans in that regard?
No, really no plans. I mean, as one of my favorite aspects of being in a gold mining company is having that exposure to gold. So I really have no plans to manage or mitigate that exposure. I want to have more and more exposure, and you do that by basically expanding mineralization, finding more gold, finding more ounces, and really increasing that exposure, which is it doesn't seem like you have it these days. Not only Cassiar Gold, but you see a lot of gold mining juniors out there that are trading like gold was $1,500 or $1,800, and gold is trading.
It's unbelievable, and I can't even understand it myself. And we are there to raise awareness about the fact that, hey, gold is now above $3,000 an ounce, and the price of juniors companies like yours have not been following up.
Yeah, that's true. It's really it's shocking. But this really is a frustration, but at the same time, it's really the opportunity. being able to acquire, gold juniors that trade like gold is trading at less than $2,000 an ounce, when gold is above $3,000 an ounce, is really a tremendous opportunity. And I think, in a few years, we're all going to look back and see, how much of a no-brainer it was. It was so obvious, but, markets can have big dislocations for a lot of reasons. And I think, we live in such a time. There's so many reasons, cultural reasons, the lack of interest maybe from investors, and especially young investors in the space. That's really the opportunity, because the demand for gold is unrelenting, and I don't think it's good. Gold has been the backbone of the global financial system for really thousands of years, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And this is really a tremendous opportunity to get positioned in this sector, and really take advantage of this massive discount that not only Cassiar, but a lot of these companies are in a space are facing right now.
Well, at least that's an opportunity for the investor that has his own research, of course.
Exactly.
I have been looking for some additional information on Cassiar Gold, and your focus on community engagement in British Columbia has been noticed. And what are the specific? Can you tell us a little bit about the specific costs that are allocated to these efforts, and how do you measure the financial returns in terms of for the company?
Measuring the financial return is making everything to make sure that you eventually get into production, and that's really the measure of a financial return. And if you look, projects with this size and potential, can command very high valuations, in many cases in the billions of dollars. In terms of the activities themselves, this is something that we are very proud of as an operator, work that we do with our community, indigenous partners as well. So we try to hire locally as much as possible. That's one thing. We provide training opportunities within the community and our indigenous partners as well. For example, our core boxes for our drill core is sourced from the community. We create partnerships, or part of partnerships with contractors as well. This is all to be a force of good to the community, and really unlock economic opportunities and partnership opportunities and employment opportunities, and also help build amenities within the community. So we're very proud of that, and it's something that we put some significant efforts, and it's really great to see the results and the engagement, and we really feel how thankful the communities where we operate are, and really try to build that sense of partnership, to really unlock the massive opportunities that come with the potential for mine development, but even before that, as we drill and operate and grow and de-risk this asset.
Well, I guess so. You talked about significant effort. Can I ask what percentage of your funding you're using for the community efforts?
I would say it really depends. It's some of them are direct, some of them are more indirect. I would say probably around 5%, maybe less than that, but it's hard to measure. When you have direct hires, that's one. Basically, all the products you source being core boxes or when if some of the other service providers like camp or fuel or other activities that we might use a local partner other than the core boxes, for example, or when we basically sponsor local sports teams, are also more direct. So it's some of them are more social minded, others are more operational minded,
Yes.
and different levels of extent and impact within the community, some more direct and some more indirect as well.
Okay, thanks. Now, my last questions. We briefly spoke a bit about how frustrating it has been for you and also for me that the capitalization and stock market for miners does not reflect the current situation in gold. Cassiar Gold is one of the many companies you're doing exploration, so you don't have so significant revenues, don't propose dividends. What would you say to potential investors to let them know that Cassiar Gold stand out among other mining companies, and why would the stock be attractive among other miner stocks?
There's many ways you can look at it. One is the replacement value of the infrastructure that we have is worth in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and the market cap of this company is right now $26 million.
Yes.
So just the infrastructure alone presents itself as a truly deep value opportunity for investors. On top of that, when you look at the resource, gold is trading at over $3,000 an ounce. You look at the number of ounces that we have into our market cap, and we're looking at valuation that is in the $15 to $20 an ounce. When gold is trading at over 3,000, this is there's a massive
but this is potential. This is potential in your case. This is potential.
We have a inferred resource. It's not like it's an exploration target or some big dreams. We've been hitting consistently mineralization. So it's a very real potential. Put it that way.
No, but basically, I agree with you. Yeah.
And other than that, if you want to compare to like some other companies, very few exploration projects benefit from having all the infrastructure. Very few projects benefit from having mine permits already in place, and very few projects have a board or executive team that has so consistently done it before as well. So I think we're very unique in a lot of ways. The fact that we're in a safe jurisdiction is another one. The fact that we have great community support. The community and the indigenous partners are very supportive of our projects. And then more importantly, not only we have a great, very exciting project, but again, it's extremely undervalued. You see projects that are similar that can be trading at 200, 300, $500,000, 700 million market cap. So you see projects that are not too dissimilar, although every project is similar, that can get taken out by a big producer or have been taken out by big producers for $1 billion or more. It's really a very unique asset, quite undervalued, that really ticks almost every single box you want to tick as you do the due diligence on the asset. So I really would welcome anyone to have a look at what we have, because it's really highly undervalued, and it also presents, because of everything I just said, an excellent risk-reward profile compared to almost every single project out there.
I know. I also know from our previous discussion that you also have skin in the game. Can we disclose how much you have invested personally in the company, Cassiar Gold?
Yeah, no, I've invested $1 million of my own money at the higher share price, a higher cost than we are trading today. So I think my average cost is around 35 cents. I've been bringing it down over the last few weeks and months, buying more on the open market or through, private placement, for example, last year. So it's
a proof that you believe in the business, of course. Yes. Thank you, Marco. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gilles. I really appreciate your time.